Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody, Militiaman here, Militiaman and the Crew. It is going to be a little quicker tonight because I just need to get through a lot of this data. I wasn't here over the weekend, had a wonderful time with the family, and just want to make sure that everybody's having a good week, and know that, and we all know that the dinar is important, but family is just as important by far. Okay, so anyway, Prime Minister article comes out with the independence of our national decision is at the forefront of our principles, and the government has achieved a lot in his first year. I don't disagree with that. I think the man has been off and running like no other inside the country and globally. We all know that he was at the UN Assembly meeting. He went over to Europe. He's been to Switzerland. He's been to China. He's been to Russia. He's been doing a lot of things in his first year. But interestingly enough, on this particular article, if you look it up, he says he concluded by saying Iraq is now playing its role in bridging relations and positive interactions between the East and West and between the North and South, because it's an economic and cultural link. So Iraq is an economic and cultural link. I would highly recommend you guys dive into this article and take a look at it, because Iraq is going to be an economic and a cultural link, has been before and will be again. So get ready, because it's coming. This is not going to change. Here's another one that says that the launch of the activities of the 7th Ambassadors Conference under the patronage of the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. And who's this? Oh, it's Wally. Wally's come to join us. Maybe he'll pop in for here a few minutes. It says that the activities of the 7th Ambassadors Conference began under the patronage of the Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani. Look, they've done these before, but this is an interesting time frame. It says the conference was to present the work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in response within the government's program, and the 85 ambassadors and heads of missions of the Republic in Iraq participated in this conference activities, and that those conference activities are ongoing. And some of the things that they're going to be doing is in respect to the ISO 20022. So that's the SWIFT system. So we'll see how that turns out, okay? The economic expert preventing the withdrawal of the dollars and herbal via the ATM machines. Sounds like they're closing up shop. They're starting to get to that agreement of that they're going to do less dollars, and they're basically prohibiting withdrawals of the dollar via ATM machines. So that's herbal. I know that's a little bit dated, but it's important because the process is happening. It says the elimination of the parallel markets and parallel exchange rates, in the end of the state of the dollarization, and trends towards an automatic increase in the value of the dinar. That's what they're suggesting that it will happen. I believe that that's probably going to be the case, is because the parallel market goes away probably within moments, effectively, of an international acceptable exchange rate. So we're going to see how that one goes. The President of the Republic article comes out. It says the government worked carefully to distance the country from the policies of Axis. Okay, it says, I salute you in this important meeting with the heads of diplomatic and consular missions abroad, and we hope that we will have fruitful context of seeking to strengthen and consolidate Iraq's relations with various brotherly and friendly countries in the world. It says this is what helps develop relations to commercial and investment aspects, and stimulates capital, companies and governments. Okay, it helps stimulate cooperation and investment in a safe and stable, stimulating environment. So they're openly talking about being safe, stable environment, and they're not going to keep from changing that, I don't think. Here it says Judge Zidane, Iraq success in building good international relations is the basis for building the state. No doubt, right? And that's what's been ongoing. They've been talking to different countries around the world, and they have been doing it consistently, and they've been help facilitating and mediating just like they have in the past, and they're going to do it again. That cultural and economic link they talk about, economic link, cultural, and it's really kind of cool to see this stuff coming down. It says that on Saturday, Iraq's success in building good international relations is the basis for building the state, and I think we can all agree with that. Iraq's success in building good relations is the basis, and it falls within the works task of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through these ambassadors deployed in countries of the world. So basically, those 85 ambassadors are at home having a conference, and they are basically talking about stabilizing the security of the country. And the competent security services will be able to defeat terrorism. Of course, everybody's on the same page. The ambassadors must live up to their responsibility by projecting a positive image of Iraq. And that's, I think, what they're doing. And it's not a bad thing. So it's pretty exciting to see this stuff. It says that Sudanese, I think this was this morning, if I have it organized properly, but I think I don't, but just put it this way. We had the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. He was in Iraq, and he met with al-Sudani, and then al-Sudani met with the Ayatollah Khomeini in Tehran. So interestingly enough, that's what they did. And is there any, how would you say, coincidences? I don't think so. Here's an article that says the Supreme Judiciary discussed coordination mechanisms in preparing new draft laws. Okay, so they're talking about new draft laws. The two presidents discussed coordination between the presidency of the Republic and the judiciary in preparing new draft laws and amending laws that require amendments. So they don't tell you what they're talking about. They just say that they have new things happening, and some of them require amendments. All right. So we'll see what we come up with. We could speculate on, does that have to do with finance? Does it have to do with exchange rate? Does it have to do with divvying up monies for the hydrocarbon law? Well, we're going to find out. So the American ambassador reveals the outcomes of the Sudanese and the Blinken meeting. So I think I might have just had that just a little bit out of order, but hey, it says the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met with the Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani on Sunday in Baghdad, and the two parties discussed the ongoing conflict between, we all have a conflict in the East, Israel, Hamas, and the needs to avoid the expansion of the conflict, including Iraq. So they're looking at containment. Iraq's not they're not looking to expand anything. They're looking to try to do the best that they can humanitarian wise. I think Iraq knows. I think the United States knows. I think the world knows that when it comes to humanitarian, it's taken it pretty seriously on both sides or all sides. So really, anyway, really keeping an open road. I think the United States has stressed that they want to make sure that there's access to food and water, medical care, and other necessary provisions and assistance. So that's an ongoing situation. That's tragedy for some. But here we are, though, that there was this meeting that I just mentioned after the fact. It is that the Ayatollah Khomeini and the Prime Minister of Iraq had a meeting also. So we're going to have to wait and see what the turnout of that is. And that happened, what was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. So hopefully we can see some things come from it. It looks like that, our Secretary of State has basically revealed some details of what was discussed. He told reporters that obtained information from al-Sudani, the American forces in presence in Iraq would be protected. A lot of the stuff that's been happening has been within Iraq against the American bases, etc. And it's kind of the job of the country, the host country, to protect those involved, especially when it's coming within their country. So his attempts to make that point, he's done what he's done to do so. It says here that the depths of the relationship between the two countries, the visit to Tehran is an affirmation of the depth of relationship between the two countries, which is Iraq and Iran. The visit to Tehran is important in this sensitive circumstance that the region is witnessing. It's basically, in addition to, it says that they have great opportunities to establish an economic partnership, foremost of which is the road again, to the visit to Tehran is an important, and it's sensitive. The circumstances are, the region's going through some major stuff. So basically the foremost thing that he wanted to talk about, though, from according to what this says, it says they have great opportunities that establish an economic partnership, foremost of which is the road to development. The Joint Security Committee was able to remove all hotbeds of tension in the border areas. So obviously this is to make sure that the economic side of things is, because it's big. Iraq's going to be an economic link. It's going to be a cultural link, and they need to fix this. And so some of the largest companies in the world are going into Iraq. And we have another mention of France's Total. Okay, here a quote says, the meeting discussed the field development plan and the project signed within the contract with the company, which include developing the Artawi field, gas processing in 6 oil fields, seawater project, solar energy project. These projects will contribute to developing the oil and gas sector in Iraq, increasing production, improving performance, and providing job opportunities. Okay, so all the conflict that's going on, everything, but what else is going on? Progress. They're still moving forward on everything that we've been talking about. It's still a work in motion, and we're going to see how this plays out. Here's an article that's called "Restricting Cash Reserves." It's a professional and an expert, Al Metwali, not related to my Wally, but Al Metwali is his name. Is going on. He says there's no doubt the dollar is the strongest currency in the world, despite all attempts to find a competitive alternative to it. The United States of America accounts for nearly a quarter of the global gross domestic product, which makes it the largest and strongest economic power in the world. Can't deny that. If you guys go onto some of your sites and look what the dollar exchange rate to a basket of currencies are at the moment, it's not below 1.00. It's 106, 107 almost. It's got strength. People go to the dollar during turmoil. That's just the way it is. And that's not going to change. And because guys like this that know what they're talking about, I would suggest you specifically read this article called Restricting Cash Reserves. It's that simple. Go into Patreon, type that in, Restricting Cash Reserves. You'll find it. It'll come up, and you'll be able to take a look at it, okay? I think you'll find that there's more to the story. I think that you're going to see a lot of strength in a lot of different regions come up, especially when this whole thing gets ironed out and we have that level playing field that we've been talking about for the last few years. It says here, Iraq Parliament ends its legislative term pending calls to hold emergency sessions. Okay, they were supposed to have their HCL done in this session. It says the House of Representatives will officially end on the 9th of this month, and the data indicate that it's not possible to hold any sessions due to the preoccupation of members of the House in preparing for the Governing Council elections. So all the House of Representatives guys found it not necessarily necessary to be legislating the oil and gas law. Why? Because they know, just like probably we do, is that at some point in time they're going to have the value of their exchange rate to be able to determine how much value they're going to give the wealth of the citizens. It's pretty much that simple. So these guys are going to go home, hopefully. The 9th is that, where are we at? We talked about the WTO. They did the 31, 1, and 2 meetings in Abu Dhabi. And now they're having continuation meetings in Geneva, 7, 8, 9. Okay? There's a government procurement agreement. Everybody needs to go and do their research and do their study, because there's some powerful information. It's complex, and if you haven't done that, you don't know what you're talking about. You really need to pay attention. And I've always said, it's like everybody should know what they own. I feel I do know what I own, and that's why I'm helping you guys. That's why I'm here to do this kind of stuff, is because the news is important. It isn't the get-all, and it's not always accurate, but that's what I do. I report the news the best that I can and the best of my ability to help people. and thank you for helping me to do so. Okay, it's scratch my back, I scratch your back type situation. So thank you for that. All your guys' support all over the world, 38, 40 countries help support us, and the crew members do a fantastic job of trying to keep the peace in turmoil. It's not always easy. Here's an article that says, we need time to resolve the controversial points in the oil and gas. Resolving the difference between the center and the Kurdistan region depends to a large extent on the legislation of the oil and gas law agreed upon within the state administration coalition. So here we have, these guys just took off and went home. Well, they must have some information that you and I are expecting too, because if they didn't find it necessary, why? Because they're waiting for what we're waiting for. That's how I see it. It says the chairman of the Council of the Securities Commission. Think about the ISX Stock Exchange working in conjunction with the Kurdistan region. Okay, their stock market's already on a tear and has been. So you don't think that when this thing goes live that they're not going to have a major boom to their stock markets? You got to remember, a lot of institutions can't buy stocks that are 000 stocks, 0.0007 quads. They can't do that. They won't. Their bylaws don't allow them to do it. But man, when this country opens up and revalues their currency, and it's reflected in the pricing of their stock in their country, the place is going to be on fire, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure that the Rabies Securities has a new platform, electronic platform that they'll be using. So do your own research, get professional advice. I don't care if it's legal, tax, anything. Everybody should get their own professionals. I'm not one, nor is my crew. We just help read the news, okay? So enjoy, and let's see, last thing I'm gonna say is that the 10 industrial cities, okay, they're going to build on the Development Road project is massive. Okay, this is exactly what we've been waiting for, is that Development Road project is going to come from the east, head to the west, and it's going to be a big deal because all that distance across the country of Iraq is going to be built out with infrastructure. And the WTO is on for procurement, government procurement. Look it up. What does it mean? It means spending money. What is the budget, the 23, 24, 25 budget? It's a tripartite budget. What's it got a component of? Investment. We haven't seen any spending on that yet. That's why we're here. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing these guys roll this thing out. It says here that the Sudanese government is serious about accelerating the pace of work into the coming months. They got to start spending money to get this project off the ground and get these roads built, infrastructure built, all of it. And so powerful stuff, you guys. It really is. This week is really big. I would keep your eyes peeled. The accession to the World Trade Organization is a key component, but they need a value to be able to do that for pricing of all the components that are going to come through in and out of the country. You got to realize that is massive, and we're staring at that right now. But who has the policy? Is it the IMF, the Central Bank of Iraq? I mean, the IMF is the dictator of Article 8 compliance, right? So has Iraq given the notice that they're going to be Article 8 compliant? Or do they just wait until they just turn it on because they've already told the IMF they were ready to do so and would honor that compliance? And so we're going to see how that plays out, because that's part of the biggest thing. And remember, one of the things that the U.S. Treasury did say is that they have some control. Well, who's the largest stakeholder in the IMF? I think when you answer that question, you'll see that there is a hint of control, regardless of anybody likes it or not. That's just how the world has evolved. So, hey, thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. Today is really kind of an important day for lots of different reasons. But the main thing is that anybody and everybody that's new with Militiaman and Crew, thank you so much. And if you like our content, hit the like button, subscribe, and we have ample ways of, if you want to help this content keep flowing, see the details. It's in just right up here above. So enjoy. Thank you so much.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel
or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.